What's good, everyone? Back with another K trades video. We're gonna make a little SMT video today. Talk about what they are, how to use them, and some in-chart examples. Yeah. So let's get into the charts and the mirror board, and yeah. All right, we're open. So, I'm gonna jump right into it. So SMT is the third concept that I want to talk about. So, what definition of it is, SMTs are miscorrelations and manipulation between two assets when one is lagging and one is behind. No, wait, one is lagging and one is leading. Particularly NQ and ES, SMTs are a form of manipulation and act as a booster for price to go wherever the draw is. Now, that sounded very complicated, but I'm going to dumb it down in a sec here. So the main thing to understand here is SMT is a form of manipulation. And what I mean by miscorrelation between two assets. So for this, you're going to need two assets to compare, which if you're trading ICT, it would be NQ and ES. But these are kind of linked, they're like linked assets. And when we get a miscorrelation between them, it means either one is lagging, so price is slower, and the other one is leading and it's taking liquidity faster and it's getting there before the lagging one. So here's an example of it. So this is NQ, this is ES. So in this example, NQ is actually the leading asset because look, we take this high and ES does not take it. So the SMT is when we manipulate a high on one asset and on the other asset we don't manipulate it. So it's a miscorrelation between the assets. So stay with me here. So this is the same as this. Oh wait, no, this. It's just here with just regular manipulation, both assets manipulated the high. Here, only NQ manipulated the high. And SMTs are more high quality. They add more value to the setup. Okay. For instance, here NQ takes a high while ES does not, making the ES the weaker asset, leading to a reversal in the opposite draw. So same as manipulation, it's always going to go the opposite draw. But you can see NQ actually made it here first. This goes vice versa. Let's look at an example where NQ is the lagging and ES is the leading. So you can see we have liquidity resting here, liquidity resting here. On NQ, we don't take this because we're lagging, and ES goes up to it and takes it. So giving us an SMT, and then we see displacement, and then we go lower to the opposite draw. Pretty simple. Now, we always want to take trades on the weaker asset because it will always be closer to the ultimate draw. Because the strong asset is further down or up, this makes the weaker asset turn into the stronger asset, thus making liquidity faster and more profitable. What I mean by this makes the weaker asset turn into the stronger asset. When we don't take this high on ES, one, we're closer to the draw right here. ES is farther up, and you can see NQ now becomes the leading asset because look, we take this low before even ES is taking this low. So now NQ is leading. So it's just a exchange of leadership, and sometimes they're not. Sometimes these assets are the same, and you can still use manipulation, and it's still very probable. Think of SMTs as a fancy and more probable way of manipulation. Notice how the weaker asset takes a low because price is closer to it. Bullish SMTs. Okay, yeah. There's two types of SMTs, bullish and bearish. I'm only showing bearish SMTs in the example, but if this is actually a bullish SMT right here. Here, I'll draw. Actually, no, I can't draw the line. But it would just be a line here because NQ has taken its low first, and it'd be bullish because we are going higher. Price wants to go higher, and this is bearish because it's forming at the highs, and here's another example, kind of as similar as this one. Stronger asset takes the high first, displaces, you can take a long there, a short, and then weaker asset doesn't take that high, but makes it to the draw first. Confusions. These are actually both the same idea. Liquidity is being manipulated on both examples, but the example with the SMT has a miscorrelation with the other asset that did not take that specific high. No, an SMT is more quality, higher quality. And hopefully you wrote that down because I kind of went through that fast, but I'm going to jump into the charts and show you guys what I mean. Alright, so this example actually happened today while I was trading. It's a pretty clean example of SMT. So I have two assets pulled up on TradingView. You might need you do need a plan to have these two charts. So if you're willing to pay that, it is very beneficial to just trading. So it's right here. So at 8:30, which is right here today, price starts coming up, and NQ is leading because it's the stronger asset right now. Right now it is, and it ends up taking this high right here, putting in an SMT. But if you didn't have the two charts, you would have just marked it out like this, which is fine. But SMT gives it more high quality because I find way more winning trades with SMTs. But you could see this SMT brings us all the way down to this internal low right here, which then, if we look in the higher time frame, we put in a SMT at this really big low. I'll show it on here. So ES doesn't take this low. So I would maybe reckon in the next week we'll be back up here or displacing through all these highs. So yeah, I'll show you guys another example. All right, here's another example of SMTs. This is actually a place where I would want to take this. So we got manipulation of this low, and then we NQ take this low, ES and I take this low, so we get an SMT. Let's see what we got. Oh my fuck. Okay, hold on. Somewhere. Okay, right here. So looks like we got a little change in the state. Small for value gap. And yeah, I would probably long this right here. And that's how I would. This is how I use SMTs in a model. It's mandatory to have manipulation in an ICT setup, but SMT is always preferred. So if we can get a setup with SMT, displacement, and a clear draw, that's a great setup. Yeah, but manipulation with a clear draw. I want to see more. I want to see maybe an inverse value gap or a change in the state. Like I want to see more confluences because with regular manipulation, I don't always have the conviction to execute, setups like this. Oh, and I low-key took this on the stronger asset, which it played out, but you can see that ES went to the draw way faster. We took it at this candle right here, and that candle on NQ didn't even take it yet. So you can see how that kind of plays out also. All right, here's a bearish example of SMTs. So again, NQ is usually the leading asset in front of ES, by the way. You'll see that. but NQ takes this little high right here. We are in a bigger time for value gap. Change in the state with the displacement. I guess you could end along right there. But yeah, wherever, just anywhere here, really, with that validation with the SMT, works out pretty well. Again, I'll check on ES. Displacement through that. I wouldn't enter really right there, but it's just kind of to show how it works. In correlation with, displacement, a clear draw, maybe a fair value gap, change at the state. Yeah. Alright, a couple of things I want you guys to take away from this video. One, SMTs are higher probability than manipulation. Try adding this to your model. That if you don't know what an SMT is already, try adding it and see what you think of it. So it's miscorrelations between two assets when one takes liquidity and one doesn't. Simple. Go back if you need to in my video and look at the examples and maybe write them down like on a piece of paper. Just draw the graph and then draw the SMT, and then maybe you can understand the structure more if you didn't understand it. And always look for SMTs in whatever model you're looking for. It adds really good probability and conviction setup. So hoping you guys like these raw videos. I'm not much of a editor or planner. I just kind of go into these videos just seeing what my brain does. But yeah, hopefully you guys learned something. Stay true, stay with truth, and I will catch you guys in the next one. Peace.